place of fear and fury. Do you hear it? The heartbeat of the lost ones.
First and foremost, one of the most notable Microsoft exclusive games of the company's lifespan, the one and only Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, just went gold and is now coming out on May 21st on PCs and Xbox Series X only. Most of you know that it's been over 7 years since the first entry, and Ninja Theory developers are promising to build on the first game in all the right ways, using Unreal Engine 5, major overhaul in combat, and a much more punishing nature. If you missed it, we actually got a new trailer for it.
You want the truth?
Fighting here is just like the real world, except each loss becomes a lesson for your next deployment.
We're hit.
Carry her down.
Coming in at second, right now the most anticipated strategy game of 2024, in fact, the longest awaited game in the list. See, Homeworld 3 finally hits PCs exclusively on May 13. Developers stated this is over 20 years of work. There's a new roguelike mode. All in all, it's going to be a less punishing game than its predecessors, and there's going to be 2 camera control schemes, a modern and a classic, in addition to a whole different story. Check it out in case you missed it.
Think you're ready for the real thing, Cadet?
How did I go against you?
Project Indica, however, is a psychological adventure horror game in nature, and ever since January 2024 it's been in pretty much most of our lists. The reason is that Indica's true nature is still a somewhat mystery. Like, we're still not sure if it's gonna be as realistic as the trailer suggests, or at least is it only good on the demo. Either way, the game is coming out no longer than a month from now as the company's first story-driven puzzle religious horror game.
You can see I'm trying. But he's always behind my shoulder.
I'm not really sure how old most of you viewers have been around, but if that would be a couple of years, then most of you know about the game V-Rising. And ever since its early access, V-Rising has proved to be one of the best action RPGs from an indie developer, except it's got strategy game mechanics as opposed to the usual action RPG, and you play as a vampire. Here's the thing, V-Rising is now finally coming out of its early access and due for the PlayStation 5 alongside the PCs on May 8. Developers also came up with a new trailer.
Never stop for too long. And once they catch you, that's the end of the line.
This has been at least 4 years since we had our first fun playing Radio Commander and other games. We've got over here the company's new work going by the name Heading Out. Maybe one of the finest blend of genres since we heard about Nightingale maybe? It's a roguelike visual novel and a narrative adventure, then there's a lot of driving around for all that matter. I mean, it's possibly inspired by the Sin City movies, and developers promise to deliver the game on PCs on May 7 this year.
They've been saying that the interstate jackalope is so fast, the police are not able to catch him.
We have a visual on the subject. Initiating the pursuit.
This is the police. Pull over immediately.
Quickly, the rot and fear bloomed. Pestilence claimed the land, the crops, the animals.
Coming in at number 6, we've got a game over here brand new called Harvest Hunt. Firstly, let's just say Harvest Hunt is a new territory for us, since we haven't had too much of it yet. However, it's shaping up to be one of the best. It's a roguelike survival horror game, if it makes any sense, set in a first-person view, basically blending deck building mechanics with survival horror elements. You pick a card and decide the life of your characters. Play it on a demo on Steam or wait a little longer until the full release on May 22nd. Probably the longest awaited fighting game of 2024. I mean, we have been waiting a good 5 years to have a final release on this one, but finally, Die by the Blade is on its way to PCs and all platforms on May 16. It's one of the most challenging yet carefully designed one-hit kill fighting games with a one-on-one skill-based fighting mechanic, offering a single player and a multiplayer for all kinds of players, and the whole thing's like set in like a samurai punk style and a history accurate at the same time. Check it out.
You made it back, Striver. What news from Rhymeho? So, it is as I feared.
Moving on to number 8, we have here actually a remastered version of Morbid, now retitled to Morbid: The Lords of Ire. Morbid, if you're just new to its name, is a Souls-like hack-and-slash role-playing game, obviously as you can see, inspired by Bloodborne in looks. However, it's an isometric Souls-like, like the Diablo games. Developers are bringing now reworked graphics, mechanics, additionally more cutscenes and also in-game content.
When you think you know all the tracks.
This game is a surprise to us, but apparently April is a month of sports in video games. And if you missed out on his announcement a couple of weeks ago, Milestone officially announced MotoGP 24, coming to PCs and all other platforms on May 2nd this year. The new game is introducing both the Riders Market and Stewards Market to the game, a live GP championship as the game's multiplayer aspect. There's also crossplay and two-player local split screen, and much more. Check it out in case you missed it.
Happens in MotoGP 24.
I've actually said this last month. If you're still waiting on an update, I'll say it again. F1 2024 is coming out on May 31st, and this is into PCs, Switch, and to both generation of consoles along the way. Now, considering EA Sports has released almost nothing in terms of gameplay just yet, what we could tell you is that they promised the all-time trial challenge with an all-new 2024 pool of cars. Additionally, an overhauled career mode. Anyway, we actually got this. You can play this on Steam through a demo, a free one, of course, but either way, it's not that long of a wait to have hands on the real thing. Cozy Knots over here is a little bit inspired by the game Pal World, but it's actually a colony sim set on the surface of Mars, and you can play it with friends. Your actions consist of farming, building useful items to be able to live more efficiently there, and similar activities. This game is coming to PCs exclusively on May 30. Precisely a month ago, Paradox Interactive came out and announced a 2-month delay for Prison Architect 2, saying the finishing touches will push the game to May 7 instead of what was supposed to be coming out a couple weeks ago now, eventually delivering their best. Prison Architect over here is of course a prison management sim game, also the sequel to one of the most well-received games of all time, this time offering 3D graphics to the table, multiple floors to maneuver, a sandbox construction system, a career mode, and also this inmate connection thing. Check it out. And last but not least, due on May 9, 2024, we have a puzzle side-scrolling adventure called Gift. Gift is a tad inspired by the Little Nightmare franchise about this tiny little protagonist that's trying to escape from a sinking ship. A ship, actually, with changing maps as the story goes forward. And not only that, our little friend here has to help a few other characters and passengers along the way. Anyway, Gift is coming to PCs and Switch on May 9, and this is how it looks.